All right. Hey, quants. Today is going to be another chart day, but before we get into that, I'd like to share some of the recent progress I've made with Crown AI. That is one of the projects I've been working on most lately. I've also been on the side just slowly making updates to the Quant Alchemy site as new ideas come in. So we'll start there. I recently had released the GAN timing tool, which you can access if you go to Quant Alchemy. It has the link down at the bottom. And I did mention in one of the previous videos that for people who are already up on GAN stuff, it probably wouldn't be that useful because there was only 8 dates called out there. Well, I did include a lot more of the other potential dates that might be of interest throughout the year. And so I've added a lot more functionality to this particular page, including the time count calculator. So I think is interesting, and I haven't used this enough yet myself, but one of the main GAN ideas is if you find a swing low or swing high, doing counts forward from there. And so using some fixed GAN dates or counts like 21 variables of 7 or something like that. And so what this does here is if you pick a day, just any date, then it's just going to do the math for you so that it'll give you the particular dates that you can go look for. Now, if you're playing on TradingView, you probably don't need that because you can use like a bar calculator or something like that and just count out that way. But if you're trying to do the math mentally in your head and think 90 days, because some dates have 30 and some dates have 31, you might not know the exact date without thinking about it for a second. So this just kind of dumbs that down, makes it real simple. And then the other thing that I've added on here is you can add specific dates directly to the calendar, but if you go all the way up to the top, you can download the seasonal dates in ICS format and also the monthly dates in ICS format. And so if you're not familiar with how to do that, I tend to use Google's calendar. And so you can just add a new calendar here. And when you add that calendar, you import your ICS. And so for this calendar here, that's what I've done. And you can see, I don't know why I jumped forward there, but you can see wow, thank you. You can see all the dates here that have been added. And so by default, you're going to get whatever dates you typically have on here. This is just one of the calendars for an account that I don't really use. So I was using this just for testing. So I'm just going to hide those dates. I don't have any tasks, so that's not going to hide anything. The other calendars generally have the holidays, which you can see here. If I hide that, and then I'm not going to have any birthdays on here because this isn't tied to any of my contacts. Point is here, now you'll see just the GAN monthly dates that you can show or hide. And then I did another create calendar for the GAN seasonal dates where I imported that. And so then it just makes it very easy to get that data on your chart, which if you don't want it all the time, you can just turn it off. But I thought that was a pretty interesting idea, and I'm going to keep this on my calendar so I can keep track of these things when I'm not always thinking about them. So that was kind of the newest feature that I added that I thought was interesting. And so the other thing that I'll mention here is there's just a switch between seasonal dates and monthly pressure dates. And so if you switch over to monthly pressure dates, this indicator of if you're close to those date ranges will change based on which type of date you have selected there. So the next thing that I wanted to show or share is with the Crown or Krong AI, which is really the Crown AI product that I've been working on. This one, I just added this what's new page. And so you saw if you go to if you're on the wait list and you go down, you can see what's new. And so the what's new link will take you to this page. And this is basically just going to be a bit of a change log. And so this will update every time that I push code out. And so the idea is if you want to follow along and stay up to date with how this project is tracking, you can just follow this page here, come check out this page and see what kind of things are coming. Most of this is going to be, it's basically going to be based on commits that I do. And so you will see kind of how that looks. Some of it might not be very product facing. There'll be some back end stuff going on in there as well. Of course, this isn't going to tell you any of the code, but this is going to tell you some of the things like tan stack query refactor. That obviously might not be that interesting from just a general customer facing perspective, but I wanted to have some validity here in terms of things moving forward and being built. So if that's something you're interested in and you're excited about seeing this product and you want to continue to follow along, you can just track this page and you will get updates as they come out. I'm generally pushing out new commits usually on a daily basis, maybe not every single day, but depending on the project, the work, there'll be multiple commits. And so this page should update with that. So if you want to continue following along there, you can do that. So let's go ahead and jump into the economic calendar, because I know we had some inflation data coming in and everybody sounded like they were freaking out about it. It looks like there was quite a big jump based, I mean, the points percentage is relatively small here, but still outside of the forecast, and the forecast was already high. So we'll go ahead and jump in and see what the markets look like and see how the markets are reacting to that, considering it's been a day or two. I didn't really look. That was on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday. So, and we'll just kind of see how the markets are reacting based on that. So taking a look at Bitcoin, I did mention we had the May 6th kind of sell window that we were watching. It looks like we got that rejection off of there. I was waiting to see if we are going to get a couple closes on the histogram. It looks like we did, and we did get that bearish divergence play there. And so arguably this would be a third drive of bearish divergence. It looks like it would be putting in there. It looks like we also are getting a bearish divergence on, if you're using closes on the stochastic here. So after that, it looks like it was rolling over here. So looks like things could be rolling over for a little bit. Would not yet say that that's going to be it for the year or anything like that. But very early, this potentially could be the end of it until maybe the end of Q3 or Q4. And the reason I say that was because of all of the confluence that I mentioned before, where if this bearish divergence started to play out, it was coming up against the previous, what is currently now resistance, but what was previously support. And it was also hitting up against the 200s. Now, I could totally be wrong with that. If I were going to just look at the divergences, that's the call that I would make right now. Is this is probably going to roll over. I don't know how long this is going to roll over for, but it could potentially just set out a new base here. It doesn't have to completely tank out, but I would not be surprised to see it come back down to some of these other areas and base out and maybe build a stronger base before moving higher, if it's going to move higher. And so it could also just be, the old up, down, sideways call there. But right now, based on all this, it's not looking like we're getting any push through on the 200s yet. So obviously a little bit early to say there, but if you're protecting capital at this point and you were making a short-term trade there, I think you probably got the easy money there, and it's time to look for another opportunity to develop before going any farther on that. So I probably spent more time on some of the marketing stuff that I've been working on, or the product stuff that I've been working on, but that is where I'm going to leave it today. I'm not going to go into a bunch of the other charts. I just wanted to kind of take a look at Bitcoin, especially since I was talking about that the potential for that bearish divergence to play out. I wanted to look and see how that's going. I will just mention it looks like the Gann swing turned down, looks like on this bar today. So things are turning a bit in the downward direction. So like I said, not looking good short term, but we'll see how things continue to develop, because this would be a very early call to say things are going to start failing. But it all would play into the whole sell in May, go away type of thing as well. So that'll be fun to watch. And I'll keep up to date on that if you continue to watch the channel. So, and I'll keep you posted on some of the products that I continue to build as well. And that's going to be it for today. So we will catch you on the next one. Peace, quants.